This PowerPoint is intended to help you write the narrative essay. First off, you need to choose a good event for your topic. This event should be significant, particularly something that has impacted your life or changed you in some way. It should also be an event that is unique to you. You should try to avoid topics that are universal human experiences. They're not as interesting, and it is better to choose a topic that is personal. You should also choose something that you can remember well, as you will have to write about specific details. Finally, choose something that occurred within 1 day or less. A lengthy vacation may require more than 3 to 5 pages to write about, so you want to choose 1 day out of that long vacation, the 1 day or event that was most impactful for you. So think about it as a day, a moment, something very specific. The second step is to outline your story. You should start off in the introduction with first 1 or 2 paragraphs setting up the story. This involves writing about the setting, the background, establishing dates and times, people, what you're going to do, and that sort of thing. The body of your essay should be the event itself in chronological order, preferably leading up to some sort of climactic moment, just as you would do in a story. You also need to make sure you have a complete story, so whatever the aftermath of the event was needs to be included. And then your conclusion, so your last paragraph, will be about why this event is significant to you. Often students include some sort of thesis at the end as well. This is part of why the event was important to you. The third step is to start adding description. Once you have the basic bones of your story, then you want to start adding more to it. So description would include any paragraph or sentence or anything that describes an object, people, places, anything that's integral for the story. What you don't want to do, though, is waste a lot of description on things that are not tied to the essence of the story. So if it's not terribly important, don't include it in description. Focus your description on things that carry the story along. Finally, make sure that you're using sensory details and figures of speech, both of which are discussed in the chapter on description. The fourth step is to add more tension to your story. And tension is created by making the reader want to read to the end of the story. So if you think about your favorite novel and what made you want to read the rest of the novel, this is what we're talking about when we discuss tension, or your favorite movie, or whatever. A lot of this is carried through action. Action is used to increase tension because things happen, and you want to make sure those transitions between what things happen are clear and impactful. Finally, you want to make sure that you're including emotions and feelings. Without your emotions, it usually is kind of a bland story, so you want to make sure that you're adding in tension through what you are going through. In essence, you're helping the reader to feel the same way that you did as you went through that event. The fifth step is to add more dialogue. You want to make sure this is a requirement for the essay. You want to make sure that you have at least 3 lines of what people said during the event, and those are actual quotes from people during the event. This can be in the form of a conversation. So one person speaks, the next person speaks, and then we go back to the previous person. Or just individual lines that are sort of sporadically included in your story. You want to make sure you're using correct formatting. More information about that is in the module. And you want to make sure that it does further the story. Don't put in quotes that don't make any sense or don't have anything to do with the story. Just make sure that you're adding something to your characters through the dialogue. The final step is to revise your essay. First off, make sure you check for details. A lot of students are so close to the event, it's personal to them, that they forget to add in something like somebody's name, and so it becomes confusing. Make sure you check the ending and have your story complete. For some reason, some students just kind of drop off at the end and don't explain the aftermath of the story. You want to make sure also that your conclusion discusses how you changed from the event, so it should be personal in the end as well. Finally, you want to make sure that you go back through and you alter word choice. One of the things you could do is pick at least 3 specific passages that you make more colorful. So you choose words that are more interesting than thing or stuff. Finally, check your verb tense. Everything except for possibly the conclusion needs to be in past tense. And this is probably one of the biggest mistakes students make as they shift from present to past. So keep in mind that this is a story that already happened, so you don't use present tense.